It's Talk Point again on Lagos television, and we're happy to join you. We're very sorry that we're bringing it a little about schedule. We're trying to sort out some technical issues. My name is Omololu Rosonwu. Today on Talk Point, we shall be looking at the primaries. Party primaries have started in line with the 2026 amended Electoral Act. And of course, the APC has also started its primaries, just like some faction of the PDP have also started theirs, and also the APM, the Allied People's Movement. Today we'll be looking at that, and I have a guest in the studio. He's Taiwo Olapade. He's a media practitioner. Coincidentally, he was on the field at the weekend, or even as of this morning. Ditto myself, we were on the field to assess some of the things that happened. Taiwo, nice to have you on Talk Point.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, let's first tell the audience, when we say primaries, what are we talking about? Because some may think it's a real election, and some are saying, oh, they don't understand how it goes. When we say party primaries or shadow polls, what are we referring to?
Okay, thank you very much. When we say party primaries, we are talking about a selection process in which candidates of each political party will emerge for a general elections. For this one that is ongoing, particularly for the ruling All Progressive Congress, it is expected that this primary election within the rank and file, within the members of the party, particularly those who have aspired to run for political offices, be it House of Representatives that are held on Saturday, now at the moment across the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, the senatorial is holding at the moment, senatorial primary election on the platform of the APC. By Wednesday, those who are House of Assembly, Thursday governorship, Friday, Saturday presidential. So this is a process to select or elect, as the case may be, the candidate, the flag bearers of political parties that will now face other political parties at the general election. So in a simple way, everybody can be a candidate of the party. In a case, in a situation where we have about 7 or 10 people aspiring for one ticket, that's the reason that informed the decision for political parties to conduct primary. Then the flag bearer can now emerge.
Okay, yes, the 2026 Electoral Act, amended Electoral Act, gives room for direct primaries and consensus arrangements. Now, we're seeing some parties making use of consensus arrangements and also making use of the direct primaries. Now, is it the one that suits them that they make use of, or is just a way of saying, okay, we have some people and we support this person and it's consensus? But in the case that is the other way around, there is one dissenting view, then the direct primaries will close. How is it operating?
Well, I think the bottom line is we used to have indirect primaries before, which is also very popular, and which happens to be the one that most political parties like to also adopt. But now
with delegates, yes, with delegates.
But now by this amendment of the Electoral Act, and even by the party constitution, most of them have also accepted either the consensus, which has to do with the aspirant agreeing to say, okay, let so person be a flag bearer or be a candidate. The other way around is which is the direct primary. And I want to make reference to the statement released by Mr. President in the build-up to this election. That statement came out on Thursday, and the president was emphatic as regards the need for the leadership of the party to ensure that they conduct this primary in a manner that will not lead to rancor. The president also made reference in that statement to this amendment electoral that you also just buttressed that in a case where there is no consensus, that there should be a free, fair, and transparent primary, just to show that they are giving every member the opportunity to exercise their franchise. It is my right to say I want to contest, and it's also within my right to say no, I'm not giving room for consensus. In a case where we have even one single dissenting voice, definitely there should be a primary for a candidate of the party to emerge.
Yes, I also agree with you. I haven't studied the Electoral Act 2026 as amended, but we see situations where some parties still go ahead to say, look, yes, they've been given the consensus agreement, but the people still come out and they still lined up behind.
That's validation
for
of
validation.
Of course, of course. Just like what we are, as I was coming now to the studios, I passed through Teslim Balogun, where one of the centers for the Lagos Central Senatorial District. Under Lagos Central, we have 5 local governments. We have Surulere, Lagos Island, Etiosa, Lagos Mainland, and which other one again? Mainland, Surulere, and Apapa. Those are the 5 under the Lagos Central. And for Surulere, the venue of the validation of Senator Sonny Wasiu Eshiloku is Teslim Balogun Stadium. But unfortunately, as I left the place around about a few minutes past 12, but I just got a report that they're about to commence the exercise officially. This is just validation of the candidate that has been endorsed. Even when we have consensus candidates, the law still says that you should go a step further in ensuring that that candidature or candidacy is also being validated. People must be, it's a massive crowd at Teslim Balogun as we are speaking now, where we also know there is no major election per se. Even for some, I think some 3 aspirants into the House of Representatives, of course the current speaker for Agege Federal Constituency, it was a consensus candidate. Honorable Fuad Kaudu Laguda for Surulere 1 Constituency Federal, it's also another consensus candidate. So I was there.
Likewise, Keja Federal Constituency under James
Faleke. It was a consensus candidate. So it was like a jamboree. It was like a party. It was like a, I was there at the venue for Fuad Laguda. It was like they were throwing a party.
Okay.
So the crowd was massive, but the needful must be done to also validate that consensus, which members of the party also agreed to.
Yes, in some areas it wasn't so. There was some consensus, just like you said, and in some areas it wasn't so. But we monitored. I followed the national APC executive that conducted the electoral process for the APC House of Representatives primaries on Saturday, and we went around some areas to monitor the exercise. So we'll play that report back, then we will now come back to the studio to also further discuss the issue. Stay with us. The Lagos APC primaries for the internal elections of 24 House of Representatives aspirants starts with the distribution of electoral materials to the party officials that will conduct the shadow polls. Chairman of the 7-man electoral committee from the APC National Secretariat Abuja, Right Honorable Saleh Shehu Yipmong from Plateau State, wants the APC local electoral officers to conduct the direct primaries in line with the party guidelines and the 2026 amended Electoral Act.
Tomorrow you should have at the back of your mind that whoever you declare today will definitely beat his neighbor. So your actions and inactions, you should be aware of what you are going to do on the field. 2, there are guidelines for this election, and the guidelines are straightforward. They are not hidden. Every registered member of the party is eligible to vote.
We have equally said, go to the party secretariat. Don't go to any hotel. And neither are you allowed to go to any church. God will go with you. And by the time we come back in the evening, we come back to be able to beat our chest that yes, we have done very well.
The distribution of the materials then starts, after which the electoral officers then sets out by noon to their various local government areas across Lagos State. At about 2:30 p.m., the national and local APC team starts the monitoring from Ikeja Sports Center on Oluwaleimu Street off Allen Avenue, where Honorable James Abiodun Faleke is recontesting the Ikeja Federal Constituency seat. The APC national team commenced the peaceful exercise.
According to what I am told, the election has already taken place. Of course, in accordance with the laws, and the committees are satisfied. What we have told them earlier is, once the election is concluded, they are supposed to make collection back to the secretariat. Our reason for coming here is on the fact-finding and seeing on what is happening on the spot.
The next spot of monitoring is the Ikorodu division for Ikorodu Federal Constituency, where Babajimi Benson is contesting. The election had finished when the APC team arrived, but they proceeded to the party secretariat along Obafemi Awolowo Road, Otaono.
For coming out in large numbers to participate in the emergence of our candidates for House of Reps, Ikorodu Federal Constituency. We are here, we see you peacefully. We believe that at the end of the day, the conduct will reflect the reflection of what Ikorodu people stands for.
It was the same situation at Shomolu Federal Constituency, but the team was at the APC Secretariat in Shomolu along Ikorodu Road, Onekpan, where a party elder, Senator Anthony Adefuye, was cited. Honorable Saleh gives a brief overview of the exercise when the team got back to the APC Secretariat on Akme Road, Ogba.
We came to conduct an election, and we have set out the guidelines before the people who are going to conduct the elections. We have gone round into the places we have gone. We have seen that it has been peaceful. I didn't say that we have gone to 24 constituencies, and we are back at the secretariat where there are issues, matters arising. That is why we are here. This address is here. It's a location that you can trace. So before we start, as we are collecting, if there are issues, we look at the issues. What are the issues?
Unconfirmed reports, however, say there were few skirmishes in Mushin, some parts of Alimosho and Lagos mainland. Omololuro Sonwo, LTV News. Yes, you're welcome back. That was a report of the committee, the National APC committee with the local APC that went round for the APC House of Representatives primaries that took place on Saturday. Yes, there were fair hearings and fair voting in some areas, but in some areas it wasn't that. And I have Taiwo here that will be discussing. Taiwo, you saw that report. In some areas that you visited, what exactly happened? Because these are some of the things. Large people came out, some voted, some did not vote. Take, for instance, in Mushin, there were skirmishes. People were not allowed to vote. Some they said they voted, some went, they came back, disrupted everything. And as we speak, the process is going through appeal.
Okay, thank you very much. Some of my observations, at least I monitor the exercise in Surulere local government, Lagos mainland, part of Shomolu, Bariga, and also Mushin. Sincerely, we had large turnout, massive turnout in most of these centers. But it was characterized by election irregularities.
In some areas or
in some of these areas,
okay.
In some of the places I went to, I monitored. We also experienced late arrival or even non-appearance of electoral officials. In some places, it was the loyalists of the aspirant who has the upper hand that now took charge of the exercise.
Did that really happen?
I'm telling you what we saw, what we experienced. And some of these centers in Surulere, in Lagos mainland, they took charge of the exercise. And at the point, there was even a particular location where they were counting people multiple times. 1, 3, 5, 20.
Did you make that report? Because these are some of the reports.
That's what I'm saying. This happened in Lagos mainland. They were counting people, and they were what, 1, 3, 5, 20 in the broad daylight. So at that point, people, the other aspirant, said we cannot take this. And for that reason, we have seen some of them going to the party secretariat to present a formal petition, to lay a formal complaint. Sincerely, there were some irregularities that shouldn't have happened. And that prompted my decision to also do a write-up. The write-up was titled Fallout of House of Reps, Need for APC to Prevent a Divided House. Because as a ruling party, it is expected that they must show, they must demonstrate, they must lead the path for others to follow. They must set the pace for other political parties to follow. And it's the reason why we're also expecting that maybe House of Reps was a test run. Now, the senatorial is being conducted nationwide, and even at the federal capital, which has a one single seat. That's the FCT. So we expect to see a departure from what we saw on Saturday. But even at Teslim Balogun Stadium, where I passed through before coming down here, the officials also arrived late. Despite the fact that it was just a validation of Senator Wasiu Sani Eshilokun. When he told people, and today is also a working day, people need to come out, cast their vote, and go back to their work or to their businesses. So we are expecting that the leadership of the party should take cognizance of this, go back to the drawing board. We know it's a work in progress, but they can still do something that people will say, there's no perfect electoral system. We must also emphasize that. But you must let people see that this is a resemblance of fairness, justice, equity, so that we will have little or no litigation. What we have seen so far, definitely some people will still take this matter to it's a given. Some people are aggrieved to the extent that they never believed that they can see what we saw on Saturday within their own political party, the All Progressive Congress. Now, we are hearing that in Ogun East, where Senator Benga Daniel is planning to return to the Senate, Governor Dapo Abiodun also declared interest for that same senatorial seat. Daniel has given instruction to his party members, to his loyalists, to boycott that exercise. Okay. And what we heard was that he quickly rushed down to Lagos to meet with Mr. President. We are still waiting for the fallout or the outcome of that meeting. But I think what Benga Daniel has done, personally for me, I think he just tried to avoid any crisis, any bloodshed, because we know what could happen. When two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. And the grass in this instance are the innocent party members that may have come out to say, okay, we are voting for Daniel or we are voting for Governor Dapo Abiodun. Okay,
from what we have said now, as we round up now, what's your advice for them? Because we know that you have mentioned late arrival of materials and some areas.
Non-arrival in some places.
Late
and
material
again,
in some areas.
The one thing that one of my takeaways from what we experienced or what we saw on Saturday is it looks like a return of option A4. Because you have to line up single straight line behind the picture or the poster of your aspirant. They can be in all the wards, all the polling units. Like for Koga Aguda, like Surulere Federal Constituency 2, where we had Lanre Okonla and one Abdelatif. We had about 6 centers. So we had their pictures. You have to queue, which shows transparency. But unfortunately, they were counting 1, 5, 6, 20, 25. Okay. In a broad daylight.
Yes, I'm afraid time is not on our side, and I want to believe that the party officials, the party leadership at the national and at the state level are also listening to what is being said, so that the issues can be corrected. There are still more primaries to come, and I want to believe that these issues that you have raised will be looked into, so that more people they may not be aggrieved within the party. It's something that has to be looked into. On that note, time is not on our side, but we have to also thank you for joining to listen to Talk Point today. 767 and 112 are still the lines always call in times of emergency. Taiwo, I want to thank you for being part of Talk Point.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yes, without further ado, we'll have another session once we're able to gather, because other primaries are still going to happen on Wednesday until the weekend. I am Omololu Rosso, signing out. Thank you.